Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Thursday, it's 11:20, which means it's time for assembly. And you might be wondering, if you missed our Good Morning Power broadcast, why we were in Paris today. Well, we have taken on the 5th February challenge, and collectively we have all travelled from Dorchester in Dorset, England to Paris. Over 400 kilometers as the crow flies in only 3 days. And next, we're heading to Berlin, which is over 800 kilometers away from Paris. So we'll be heading there next. And I've already had a few people sending me in some photos this morning and been filling out our Google form saying the kilometers that they've done. So well done to each and every single one of you who have taken part already. Thank you very much. Now, from Paris, we're going to cross live back to England because we've got a very special guest joining us today. We're going to say good morning to Simon. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Simon. Thank you very much for joining us. And our friend Hillary's there as well. Hello, Hillary.
Hiya.
Now, you may remember Hillary from previous live assemblies where she's been sharing all sorts of dog tips and tricks with us. But today, you've not got the dogs with you, Hillary?
No, it's too wet for the dogs to be out here. In fact, we're in a barn, so at least we've got a little bit of shelter. But no, it's not about dogs today. We're going to talk about something else.
Ah, what are we going to talk about today then?
Well, as you can probably see in the background, I'm going to let Simon take over in a minute. We are going to be talking about farming, and in particular about this big John Deere tractor, which you can see here, which Simon is going to tell you all about, and also take questions as well. So I will, if you type the questions, I can shout them out to Simon and he will be able to answer them.
Thank you very much, Simon. Much appreciated.
Okay, well, my name's Simon. I'm Hillary's husband. I work here at Drax Farm, which is nearly 4,000 acres, so it's quite a big farm. And I've worked here ever since I left school, which is in 1977. So you can do the maths and figure out how many years I've worked here. When I first started, we had lots of small tractors and lots of people. Nowadays, we've got lots less people and less tractors, but they're a lot bigger, as you can see. And this is the biggest one we've got at Drax Farm. It's the John Deere 8370R, built in America. John Deere is an American company established in 1837, so quite a few years ago. And there was actually a Mr. John Deere who started the company. It's a very big multinational company, John Deere, and we're very lucky to have this one here, and this is the one I drive. It is the biggest tractor on the estate and does most of the groundwork, i.e. cultivating and drilling, which establish the crops that we grow. So starting at the front, this is the weight. This gives the tractor weight at the front because all the pulling's done at the back. So we've got like a ballast weight. This is the bonnet. I'll open the hood.
Oh, it's going to move around. Hang on. Hi, year 4. Oh, crowns.
And then you can see the engine. This is the coolant package here. We've got the air conditioning, oil cooler, and behind that the radiator for the engine coolant. And then in there is the 6-cylinder, 370 horsepower diesel engine, which is a big, huge engine. A lot of power, which it needs. And then around back here, that's where the air filter is, because the engine obviously has to suck in air, and it has to be filtered out with a big, big cardboard filter in there. That is the compressor for compressed air for the air brakes for any equipment that's on the back. So yeah, as you can see, it's a really big, chunky, great big tractor. It's designed for pulling. Wheels, each one of these tyres is 5,000 pounds each, which you can appreciate is quite a lot. And these are cast iron wheel weights to give the tractor more weight, because as I say, it needs to grip. When you've got something really heavy behind, it needs all the grip to get.
And you can see the size with Simon standing right in front of the tyres here. He's 5'11", yeah.
Simon, how long do the tyres tend to last for?
Well, we've had this tractor nearly 4 years, and we got a set of back tyres on it last year. And we did front tyres first, then back tyres. They weren't worn out, but what we did, we had to, because this tractor's only hired, we don't buy it. We had to send it back, and it's got to go back in July when we get another one. It has to go back with reasonable tyres on it, so that they can resell it. So we kept the old tyres to put on as spares in case you have any problems with the new tractor. So they weren't worn out. So really, you could probably say that it would probably do best part of 5 years, depending on what sort of soil you've got. If you've got very flinty soil, the tyres will wear out quick because the stones, as you can see, the stones cut into the tyres. But
oh, we've got a question here. Joel and Luciette. It says, is it hard to drive, and do you have to do a test?
It isn't hard to drive, but then nothing's hard when you know how to do it, is it? But,
Simon's been doing it for years, so yeah, it is quite hard.
I started off on very simple, basic tractors and evolved slowly, and they've got more and more complicated. But as you move up to each stage, you tend to get instructions of what to do, and your experience helps. So
do you have to do a test?
I had to do a test to drive it on the road. And a proficiency test on the farm many years ago, but not specifically on this tractor, no.
Good question. I like it. Carry on with the questions and I can shout them out. Shall we show them inside?
Well, shall we do the back first?
Oh, right. Okay, let's do the back.
So this is the rear of the tractor. So obviously the tractor pulls everything from the back. So this is the hitch here, which most of the job the tractor does is pull from there. And then you've got the 3-point linkage here, which is for mounted equipment, which we don't tend to use very often. But big ploughs and big equipment sits on here and is attached to there. And then you've got the hydraulic services here. Everything that you've got pulled on has got some sort of hydraulic ram, which is operated from here, where you plug in a pipe, and then the oil is sent through there and to push the ram out.
Isabel says, how many tractors are there?
on the farm.
Yes.
So, including this one, we've got one John Deere and we've got 3 Case International red tractors.
So that's 4 tractors.
4 tractors altogether, which is a fraction of what we had 20, 30 years ago.
And just while we're here, these bags here, perhaps you'd like to explain what those are behind you.
These bags are full of nitrogen fertilizer. So we spread this on the fields in the springtime when everything's starting to grow, and it helps it boosts it along and helps it grow.
Okay, and then just going over here, we have another huge bit of equipment here, which Simon can explain.
This is a 6-meter Vadestat top-down cultivator, which is what we use to cultivate the ground, ready to put the seeds in. We don't do very much ploughing anymore. Ploughing tends to be rather slow and costly.
It's all mechanical.
So we all do it all with cultivating rather than turning the soil over with a plough. We tend to just cultivate and get a tilt with the top 2 or 3 inches.
And that is massive.
And this is made in Sweden. Vadestat's a Swedish company, and it's 6 meters wide. And
you can
when
see
it's on the back, the tractor certainly knows it's on there.
So that goes on the back of the tractor.
That hitch is on the back. Yeah, that's the hitch point there. That little ring goes in, and the hook on the back of the tractor goes in there. And then all these pipes are connected to the tractor to operate. Obviously, taking it down the road, it can't be this way, it has to be folded up and everything like that.
Okay.
So we're going to the cab now.
Lots of steps to get up. I'm going to have trouble getting up there.
As you can see, it's pretty tall. There's a lot of steps to get in here, but when you get in here, it's really nice and comfortable. It's got a great big leather-covered seat, which is what we call an air seat, which means it's got air suspension, so it going over the humps and bumps, it's quite comfortable. One door. Only one door nowadays. There is a tiny little, if it did happen to roll over on that side, I have got a little hammer so I can smash the window to get out, but hopefully that won't ever happen. Now, this is the steering wheel.
Gracie wants to know if we live on a farm.
Yes, we do.
Yes, big farm.
Big farm, yeah. This is the steering wheel, and it's very adjustable to different sort of positions, so for different sized people. This lever here is the forward and reverse lever. So it's up for forward and back for reverse. That is for the indicators on the road. Can you see this then?
Yep.
This here is for the lights, and this is for the wipers. And this is the key to turn it on. We won't turn it on.
We won't turn it on because it is
Makes
very,
so much noise,
very loud here.
Now, this is the main screen on the tractor. The tractor is driven manually on the road, but in the field, it's got GPS steering. So I tell it how wide the implement is. It plots out the grids on the field, and then when it's on when you get near one of the grids, it lights up. I press this button here, and the GPS steering will take over, and it will steer it to the other end of the field, and then I have to take control, turn it round, and then it will get back on another grid, and it would steer itself back up through. We do this with GPS now because it makes it a lot more accurate, and there's only 3 centimeters margin on this. Whereas if I was, like we used to, drive it manually, you'd never ever get that accuracy. And it also means that the machine's not overlapping at all, so you're getting more performance out of it with less overlaps. And also it makes it a lot easier for me because I can just sit here like this.
So does that mean you can drive without touching the steering wheel?
Yes, it does. Yes.
That's amazing.
As soon as I touch the steering wheel, it'll disengage the GPS, and I override it. So there. All these other things in here those are the hydraulic service levers to work the rams on the cultivators, and this is all the radio volume.
Year 4 would like to know, I thought someone would ask this, how fast can a tractor go?
Well, the tractors can do various speeds, but this one can do 50 kilometers an hour, which is quite fast.
What's that, 30 miles an hour?
Nearly that, isn't it?
Nearly,
yeah. Modern tractors tend to be a lot faster than old tractors. The old tractor I started off with here it did 18 miles an hour, but this one can do 50k.
And it's very annoying when you get stuck behind a tractor on the road. How old do you have to be to drive a tractor?
I believe you can still take a tractor test at 16,
Oh,
I believe, and drive it on the road, but I'm not sure whether you can drive one this size at that age. I think you have to be a bit older, more experienced.
have we got any budding tractor drivers at Prince of Wales? Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Right. Jacob from year 3 would like to know which is your favourite tractor and why. I think I know the answer, but I'll let Simon.
Well, I've driven in my time here. We've had 3 makes of tractor: Ford, which are no longer made, which were blue with white wheels; Case International, which are red with silver wheels; and John Deere, which is green with yellow wheels. And without a doubt, John Deere is my favourite.
And why is that?
I believe they're better built, they're better finished, and they perform better. So
Fair enough.
and more reliable.
And you've got your John Deere cap on as well, and overalls.
John Deere cap.
I know we've got some John Deere fans at the Prince of Wales School.
I'm sure you have.
John Deere is a huge brand, and I think it's in the top 10 brands of different merchandise in the world. So you can get, there's a catalogue that thick of John Deere merchandise, from bird tables to post boxes, we've got one, to pens,
Everything.
you name it.
Yeah.
You can get it badged John Deere.
For our food and farming fortnight that we have in the autumn term, we often have a tractor parked out the front of school. And 2 years ago, a tractor, I think, almost identical to the one that you're sat in now. And
Wow.
The children got to sketch it and sit inside its big wheel, and certainly loved seeing it. And I actually had the opportunity. I had the opportunity to take a little drive in it, and actually, it's very interesting how everyone gets out of your way when you're in a tractor.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are a bit bigger than the average vehicle, I'm sure.
They're a lot bigger than they used to be. Because
Joshua's favourite tractor is John Deere. I think Simon would agree with you there.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Now, the gearbox is it's got 2 modes. You can either drive it manually and use this as a gear stick and just forward to go up gear and down to go back to go down. But when I'm in the field, I put it in automatic and tell it what speed I want it to do, and then it just does everything. It changes gear automatically depending on the load and whether you're going uphill, going downhill. So what happens if I'm going uphill, it goes in a lower gear and it revs the engine harder to obviously cope with the higher workload. But to go down the hill, it shuts the engine back and increases the gears to save fuel.
So clever, isn't it? Very clever.
Simon, a huge thank you, and to Hilary as well for leading
That's
us.
all right.
It's been absolutely fantastic to hear and see the tractor and hear about the work you do. We very much appreciate you giving up your morning to join us.
No problem. It's our pleasure.
You're welcome. More than welcome.
Thank you to everyone who's been watching and everyone who's been asking questions. Have a great day now. Enjoy the rest of your time in distance learning school, and let's keep up that challenge to travel from Paris to Berlin.
From Paris to Berlin, in every disco I get in, my heart is pumping for love, 'cause when I'm thinking of you and all the things we could do, my heart is pumping for love, you left me longing for you. From Paris to Berlin, in every disco I get in, my heart is pumping for love, 'cause when I'm thinking of you and all the things we could do, my heart is pumping for love. Patience is a game, and every night I say your name, hoping that you'll answer, 'cause I'm going insane. It's quite a long time ago, you brought me out of control, hungry for your love, and like I know what that might be. From Paris to Berlin, in every disco I get in, my heart is pumping for love, 'cause when I'm thinking of you and all the things we could do, my heart is pumping for love. You left me longing for you. 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 Season was the thing, and now I just can't let it go. Meeting you was like I would know what to do. If and when I found you, but I don't, I've got no clue. From Paris to Berlin, in every disco I get in, my heart is pumping for love, pumping for love. 'Cause when I'm thinking of you and all the things we could do, my heart is pumping for love. You left me longing for you. 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 From Paris to Berlin, in every disco I get in, my heart is pumping for love, pumping for love. 'Cause when I'm thinking of you and all the things we could do, my heart is pumping for love. You left me longing for you. From Paris to Berlin, in every disco I get